Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's going on? What's going on? Just want to jump on here real quick. Seems like Saturdays has been having some interesting, inspirational moments. And so what I wanted to share on today, it was a thought that came yesterday and I didn't have the time to share it yesterday. Just too much stuff was going on. But the thought I want to share on today is progress is progress. Now, I was in class and I was talking to one of my students and they were talking about their website and they were talking about their progress. They were talking about the changes and things that they were doing. And as they were talking to me about their website and, how much they progressed and the changes and stuff that they were doing, it began to minister to me because then I began to process that progress is progress. And oftentimes, when we think about progress, we always want to make, big steps when it comes to progress. It seems as if when it comes to progress, progress can be progress, but we always want to make the big steps of progress. Like we overlook the small progress. We overlook the small steps. We overlook the small accomplishments. And I want to encourage somebody that progress is progress. Even if it is small, that's still progress. Even if it is small, that's still growth. Even if it is small, that's still maturity. And so it's so important that we don't look at the progress of somebody else and begin to measure our progress with somebody else's progress. Everybody's life and, everybody's journey is different. And sometimes we can get distracted looking at somebody's progress and overlooking the progress that you made. You could have made great strides. You could have made great progress, but you're so focused on looking at somebody else's progress and how much ground they may have gained and how much progress they have made. And oftentimes we look at other people's progress and we forget about the progress that we made. Listen, progress is progress. Even if you feel that you're only making a little bit of progress every time you do whatever you're doing, it's still progress. It's still progressing. So when we look at progress, progress is about going forward. Progress is about progressing. Progress is about maturing and trying to do whatever it takes to get to wherever you're trying to get to. And so progress is progress. Don't be overwhelmed because you feel that your progress is too slow. Don't be overwhelmed. That is one of the key things that would hinder you from wanting to keep trying to progress, or hinder you from wanting to keep trying to try and keep pushing yourself, is allowing yourself to be overwhelmed that the fact that your progress is too small. No, your progress is never too small. And don't ever think that your progress is too small. All right. No, you have to listen. Your journey and your progress, this is the progress that you have made, whether small or great. And then what'll happen is if you take your mind off of the little progress that you're gained, you'll begin to see that I've been progressing. I just got to take my mind off of it. Sometimes it seems like the progress is so small because we're looking at the little bit of steps that we have made. We're looking at the little bit of progress that we have accomplished. And oftentimes we need to take our mind off of progress. Well, we just need to focus on doing what we need to do to grow and to mature and to get better and stop looking at the progress. Oftentimes when you look at, for an example, somebody that may invest in a stock, for example, when you invest that money, oftentimes depending upon what you invest in and depends upon how the stock market is moving, oftentimes that progress of that stock may be moving slow. Sometimes that stock that you invested in, it could be going down right now and you're waiting for it to go up. It's still progressing. We know if it's going down, eventually it's going to come up. But as you understand progress, sometimes it may seem like you're going down. Sometimes you may think progress is too slow, but it doesn't mean that it's too slow. Sometimes we're focusing on all the intricate pieces of the process and progressing rather than let me just focus on doing what I need to do to progress. And I'll see that I will gain much more ground, not focusing on the progress, just focus on what I need to do. And so I just wanted to encourage somebody this afternoon that your progress, your journey is your journey. Your maturity is your maturity. All right. We're all going to mature differently. We're all going to progress differently. But just because your progress seems to be a lot slower than somebody else doesn't mean that you're not going forward. Just because somebody seems to be light years ahead of you does not mean that, that is what I need to focus on. No, don't get distracted. Don't get distracted by somebody else's progress. Sometimes, believe it or not, some people are skipping steps. And you think, because they're light years ahead of you, you think where they are, they could have skipped some steps to get to where they are. And when you skip steps and when you're trying to progress, guess what happens? You're going to have to come all the way back. Because when it comes to progress, it is a step-by-step progress. And oftentimes that step-by-step is a learning opportunity. So don't look at the progress of somebody else. Don't look at who's ahead of you. You don't know what they did to get ahead. But here you are working hard and taking all the steps to get to your next level, get to that next level of maturity. And you can look at it in business. If you have a business and it seems like one business, your competitor seems to be flourishing so much more than you. Listen, you don't know what they're doing to get ahead. They could be doing all the right things to get ahead. But guess what? You have to focus on what you're doing to progress or to advance your business. And so when we talk about progress, we're just not talking about just life. We're talking about every aspect of your life. We should be growing and maturing. Every aspect of your life, we should be progressing. Every aspect of your life, you should be going forward. You shouldn't be regressing. You should be going forward and taking the necessary steps to go forward, taking the necessary steps to mature. So don't worry about somebody else's progress, but you keep progressing. You never know that, the way you're progressing and your progress step by step, somebody else is going through that same progress. Somebody else is going through the same process that you're going through. And they may be frustrated, but guess what? Because you're taking those steps that is necessary to become better, you're taking those steps that are necessary to mature. Guess what? Your progress can help somebody else's progress. Some people are trying to rush and get ahead in life and willing to skip steps, willing to cheat the progress. There are people right now willing to cheat the progress because they feel their progress is too slow. But guess what? Because you are taking the steps that is needed, because you are progressing, your progress can help somebody else that's progressing just like you're progressing. The only thing is they're overwhelmed and frustrated with their progress, but because you're progressing, and it may seem like a slow progression, but listen, a slow progression doesn't mean it's a bad progression, but you can encourage somebody else that's progressing along that same lines. And so don't overlook your progress. Don't downplay your progress. Just keep progressing. Keep going forward. Eventually, you will get there. And you'll begin to see that when you begin to progress, you'll begin to gain momentum. That's why it's so important that, it may seem like your progress is baby steps, but eventually your baby steps you begin to gain momentum in your progression. And then you just begin to see, as I'm gaining momentum, I'm starting to progress much faster. Or you're a lot further ahead. Why? Because you have been progressing. You have been taking the steps. You have been doing what is necessary to progress. So now, because of your consistency, now because of your dedication and your hard work, guess what? You have gained momentum and you're gaining ground faster. You're progressing faster. And this progression is not a bad progression. It's the time and energy and effort that you put into your progression. It's the dedication that you put into your progression. It's the dedication that you put into maturing and doing what it takes to sharpen yourself and do what it takes to go to another level. You have to keep progressing and don't discourage yourself to stop progressing. There are people right now that were progressing. They were gaining ground. They were making big moves. And then all of a sudden they have allowed something to stop them from progressing. And now they stopped. Sometimes the people you're connected with can hinder your progression. Here you are progressing. You're making all the right decisions for the change in your life. You're progressing. And the reality of it is now all of a sudden, because you're connected to the wrong people and people don't want to see you progress, they will discourage you from progression. So the reality of it is keep progressing, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep believing. All right, let's gain momentum with our progress. Let's gain momentum with our progress. Don't allow nobody to stop you from accomplishing what you want to accomplish. So I want to leave you with that. Progression is progression. Progressing is progressing. Maturing is maturing. As long as we're going forward, we're gaining ground. As long as we're going forward, we're making these changes. As long as we're progressing, transformation is happening. Because every step, there's a better me. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting better. Every progression kind of reminds me of a train. And, that train starts off kind of slow. But as that train continues to progress, guess what? It gains momentum. That's why, it's hard for that train to stop because it's going so fast, because it's gained so much momentum that it's hard to stop. And that's how you want to progress in life. There's nothing wrong with slowing down and evaluating your steps, but you want to gain momentum to the point where nobody can stop you. Just like that train that has gained up speed, it's been progressing, started out slow, but it's picked up so much momentum that it can't stop. Listen, you need to keep progressing until you gain momentum, until nobody can stop you from progressing. That's what you want to gain momentum for. You want to gain momentum so nobody can discourage you, so nobody can stop you from progressing. Nobody can stop you from growing. Nobody can stop you from maturing. That's what you want to do. You want to keep progressing because of that. Because once you gain momentum, you will gain so much ground. You will accomplish so much. And then you'll forget about where you started. You'll look at more where you are. When you're progressing, you got to look at where you are, not look at where you came from. See, when you're progressing, you don't have time to look back. You don't have time to look back and get stuck where you were. No, progressing, you got to focus on going forward. You got to focus on your future. When you're progressing, you can't focus on your past. No, you got to keep progressing. I know we want to take time out and reflect and see how much ground we have gained. And truth be told, there's nothing wrong with that. But what happens sometimes when we want to reflect, we'll get stuck in reflection and we'll stop progressing. So, reflection is good, but don't get stuck in your past. Don't get stuck reflecting on what you did. No, keep progressing. Keep doing the things that you know that's going to help you get to where you're going. And so keep progressing. Be encouraged. Let's gain momentum with our progression. Let's be like that locomotive train that started out slow, but they have gained so much momentum that that train is hard to stop. Let's keep progressing. Let's keep growing. So I pray that what I shared has helped you, has encouraged you. Feel free to share with somebody. Feel free to tag somebody. To my YouTubers, we thank you for tuning in. It seems as if Saturday around this time has been a popular time for me to share some inspirational moments of something I was thinking about to motivate you, to encourage you, whatever the case may be. But I pray that what I've shared has given you a different perspective of your progression, giving you a different perspective of life, that you probably are taking the right steps and doing the right things to get to accomplish whatever goals you want to accomplish, or to do whatever you're desiring to do in life. But don't downplay your progress. Don't discourage yourself because you feel your progress is too slow, and don't get overwhelmed with somebody else's progress or progression that you stop growing, that you stop maturing. So feel free to share. Feel free to tag somebody. Listen, for those who follow us on YouTube as well as on Facebook, tomorrow morning, SIG Ministries Worship and Word Service. Our worship time starts at 10:30 a.m. and then we go live at 11 a.m. We would definitely encourage you to come on out and fellowship with us. We thank you for tuning in live and watching our services on live. I pray that you've been blessed. I pray that you've been enjoying those services. Those, my YouTubers, definitely subscribe and share with those who you think will be blessed by my channel. Looking for more subscriptions so I can be a blessing to more people. So definitely subscribe. Definitely share my link with others that you think will benefit from my channel. But listen, feel free to come on out and fellowship with us on tomorrow. 10:30 a.m. our worship starts, and then we go live at 11 a.m. We have youth ministry, youth church on tomorrow at 11 a.m. right after worship. We go, our youth goes right into their youth service, and then everybody else stays in the main service as well. So listen, looking for you to come on out. If you're looking for a ministry to connect with, looking for a ministry to call home, listen, we encourage you to come on out and fellowship with us. We would love for you to call SIG Ministries your home ministry. So listen, God bless you. Be blessed. Be encouraged. I pray what I've shared has encouraged you. And tune in next time. And that next time will be tomorrow. God bless. Thank you for tuning in.